Hey everyone and welcome. Today we're diving into just two verses from the book of Isaiah, but wow, are they powerful. They hold this incredible promise of divine protection, a promise that seems to echo across thousands of years. So let's jump right in and unpack what they mean.
And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? Can words written down, over 2,500 years ago actually speak to events happening in our lifetime? How can an ancient prophecy offer a kind of blueprint for modern protection? That's exactly what we're going to explore.
All right, so here's the core text from Isaiah chapter 4, starting with verse 5. It promises a divine covering, a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of a flaming fire by night, for upon all the glory shall be a defense. Then it keeps going in verse 6, describing a tabernacle for a shadow, a place of refuge from storm and from rain. I mean, what a powerful image of total, all-encompassing divine protection. Now here's where it gets really fascinating. This passage is often seen as what's called a dual prophecy. It's this idea that a single prophecy can have two totally separate fulfillments, often with a huge gap of time in between. In this case, there's one fulfillment back in the ancient world and a second one that seems to have happened in the 20th century. So, for that first fulfillment, let's go way back in time. We're heading to the 6th century BC, to a huge moment in history, the return of the Jewish people from their 70-year captivity in Babylon.
Okay, just to get our bearings, check out this timeline. It lays it all out for us. You see, Jerusalem was destroyed back in 587 BC, and that's when the captivity started. Then, decades later, the Persian Empire takes over Babylon, and by 536 BC, you've got this first wave of about 50,000 Jewish people starting a long journey home. So, that's the whole backdrop for this first fulfillment of Isaiah's promise.
And this slide right here shows the incredible connection. The language in Isaiah 4, verse 5, the whole cloud and smoke by day and flaming fire by night, that's not random. It's a direct callback, a deliberate echo of the original Exodus from Egypt, when God guided the Israelites with that pillar of cloud and fire. The prophecy is basically saying, hey, that same divine guidance and defense, it's going to be there for you as you return from Babylon.
Then in verse 6, we get this word tabernacle. And, this means so much more than just a tent. It's a powerful symbol. It's like being invited into God's own personal shelter for safety, a complete refuge from the blistering heat or, the storms of life, whether that's actual weather or hostile armies.
All right, now hold on, because we are about to take a massive leap forward in time. We're talking over 2,000 years. We're landing right in the middle of the period just after World War II, during the birth of the modern state of Israel.
The pivotal year here, the one to really lock in, is 1947. In the shadow of the Holocaust, the world community is paving the way for a Jewish homeland, which kicks off this incredible modern-day return to the land of Israel.
And get this is such a cool historical detail. The very first ship that was carrying Jewish refugees and immigrants back to their ancestral land was named the Exodus 1947. I mean, they were making that connection to the ancient story of deliverance totally intentional, right from the very beginning.
So here's the crucial point. That promise of defense from Isaiah, the cloud, the fire, the tabernacle of refuge, it was about to be tested in the most intense way you can imagine. The very moment the new nation was declared, it was immediately plunged into war.
And that brings us to this absolutely remarkable eyewitness account from that very first Arab-Israeli war. It's a story that, for some, is seen as a literal fulfillment of Isaiah's promise of God's defense happening right before their eyes.
The account describes the situation for a group of Jewish defenders as just completely hopeless. They were outnumbered, they were outgunned, and they were totally cut off from food, water, you name it. From any kind of military perspective, they had absolutely no chance.
And then, at the most critical moment, something inexplicable happens. The attacking army just stops. They throw down their weapons and surrender. When their leaders came over to the Jewish defenders, they asked this baffling question. Where are the 3 men that led you, and where are all the troops we saw? And of course, the defenders had no idea what on earth they were talking about.
This is the incredible climax of the story. The soldiers who surrendered explained that they saw 3 mysterious figures, men with long beards and flowing white robes, who warned them to stop fighting or they would all be killed. They were so utterly terrified by this vision that they just decided to give up, right then and there. So you see, whether you're looking at the return from ancient Babylon or the conflicts of the 20th century, there's this single consistent theme woven through Isaiah 4, verses 5 and 6, a promise of divine refuge that seems to completely transcend time. And that's really the big takeaway, right? It suggests these ancient words aren't just historical records, they're seen as a living promise of shelter.
Which leaves us with one final thought. If you step back from the history and the prophecy for a second, what does this ancient promise reveal about that universal human need to find safety? In a world full of storms, both literal and metaphorical, what does it truly mean for us to seek refuge?